Garcia, you're on the phone? Garcia.
Yes, I'm on the phone.
All right, thank you. They drop this off. Cool. What's the girl? You guys let her? She had no idea. She emailed me like, I guess when she was up. Okay, welcome everybody to our special meeting, May 12th. The time is 5:37 p.m. It's nice to see everybody here today. Thank you for coming and participating in this process. We appreciate you guys wanting to be involved in the community. So we're going to go ahead and stand. Ready, begin. Could we please remain standing for a moment of silence for military members and first responders? Thank you. Council, any changes to the agenda? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to citizen comments.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to do roll call.
Oh, sorry, roll call.
Roll call. Councilmember Soto. Councilmember Moran.
Present.
Councilmember King.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Present.
Mayor Aguilar.
Present.
For the record, Councilmember Soto is currently not in attendance, but her presence is expected soon.
At a special, we're going to go ahead and move on to citizen comments. At a special meeting, members of the public wishing to address the council may do so at this time. No, under the provision of the California Code, the City Council is prohibited from discussing or taking action on any items not on the agenda. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. Any citizen comments? Anybody on the phone? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to a discussion of potential action items. So our first item is conduct interviews for applicants for Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commission vacancies. So we have a set of interviews. Each applicant's going to come forth, and we'll have an opportunity to ask those questions. You have time to answer those questions. I believe the time is 5 minutes. Is that correct? It'll be 5-minute timed interview. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The first applicant we have is Christine Fernandez. And just a quick, I'm just going to read a little bit about the actual position. As you know, this position applied is for a non-paid volunteer position. If you are chosen, you will be expected to the following duties: collaborate with the entire commission in a professional and courteous manner, actively participate in commission meetings held the fourth Thursday of every month at 6 p.m., take part in commission-sponsored events, make recommendations to the City Council regarding Recreation Department, assist in recreation, parks, and arts programming, ideas, fundraising, and policy development. If selected, you will serve a 4-year term, making your appointment effective through January 30th of 2026. Okay. So are you okay with that commitment? Thank you. Like I said, just in behalf of the council and the city, we commend you for all of you for wanting to partake in this commission and be part of the city and give back to the community. I'll go ahead and start with the first question, okay? Just introduce yourself. Tell us why you would like to be part of the Parks, Recs, and Arts Commission.
Okay.
So my name is Chris Fernandez, and I have been lucky enough to serve on the commission for the last 4 years. I've really enjoyed giving back. I really enjoy living in the city of Livingston, and I've always had a passion for the rec department. So when I first moved here, I kind of reached out to City Hall, and they put me in touch with Jackie, and she got me set up volunteering at Shelby, and then she talked me into coaching, even though I didn't have a child into coaching, in the age of coaching at the time. And then she contacted me about joining the commission, and I've really enjoyed growing with the commission and getting to meet the citizens of Livingston. Originally, when I reached out to the City Hall, it was because I was new to the city and wanted to meet people, wanted to find a way to give back to the city. And so I think my favorite part of the commission is working with the actual rec programs, working with the kids, going out, doing signups, seeing them grow, seeing them just going from like coaching them to reading their applications for the scholarship that we provide. It's just really, really awesome experience. And that trunk or treat and seeing how they've grown itself is helpful to them. It's been really rewarding to me.
Awesome, thank you. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our second question, okay? Describe the strengths and/or experiences you possess that will help you advance the commission's goals and mission.
One thing I would say is my commitment. I haven't missed many meetings, and the few I missed were I got COVID, and I got a pretty bad case of it. So it took me a while to recover, but other than that, I'm always there every month, and you might see me or recognize me from being at all the events, whether it's like a spaghetti dinner or the assessments or whatever the committee needs, I'm there. So that's one of my strong suits. And then another is that I'm comfortable leading, but I'm also comfortable taking direction and just moving forward, because at some of these events, we don't need a lot of chiefs per se. We just need people to get things done. And I'm more than happy to do either position. I work well with others. I'm not dramatic. I don't cause a lot of drama. I'm there to get the project done and just move forward with whatever that would take. Like I said, I have a passion for the rec department and kids, and I think those things kind of lead me to be really an excellent candidate for the commission. Bless you.
Excellent, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to our third question. Please share some of the ways you will provide support to the commission.
Kind of ties into the last question. Just the support I provide, being there, actually showing up. I've seen a lot of people come and go on the commission in the 4 years I was there, because it is quite a commitment. You do have to kind of put other things on the back burner when you take a position like this, and you just kind of have to move forward with it and make it a priority in your life. But you do get a lot out of it in return.
All right, thank you so much. So those are 3 questions. Council, do we have any follow-up questions or anything else you guys wanted to ask? Go ahead.
Thank you. Something that you included in your application. You also started a Facebook group, Livingston Moms.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit about that and how?
Sure. It was started during the pandemic, when all activities ceased. I felt a real desire to still interact with people, and then I also felt a little alienated as a mom, not knowing. I was considered an essential worker, so I had to go to work. How to get my kid through online school, other resources. So I kind of started Livingston Moms as sort of that, and then it kind of became, well, we can walk outside together. That's something we can do together during the pandemic. So then it became like a mom's walking group, and we just got together discussing. While it is moms, it started as a mom's group, we do activities, and everybody's welcome. Moms, dads, uncles, aunts, brothers, sisters. We've had a cookie decorating thing. We did donuts for dads on Father's Day. We've done several welcome. Even during our walking, we have some dads that join us sometimes, some teenagers that join us sometimes. So it's just a way for us to get together and interact on a different level that's not part of the rec.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions, Council? Garcia?
Yeah,
Right.
you did.
Sounds like that. No, anything else you want to add? You're good?
I'm good. Thank
Okay,
you.
so I know you've served in the commission, so on behalf of the council and myself, thank you for your service. And I know it's a commitment, and thank you for everything you do, and especially during the COVID, time frame, you guys were still able to conduct business and do as best you could. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next applicant, Hilda Lopez. And, same thing, I'll start it off with, as if selected, you'll serve a 4-year term, making your employment effective January 30 to 2026. Are you willing to take this commitment?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the first question. Please introduce yourself and tell us why you would like to be a Park, Rec, and Arts Commissioner.
Again, my name is Hilda Lopez. I grew up here in Livingston, went through the school system here in Livingston, and within the last few years, returned back to live here in Livingston. Because of COVID and shortly after COVID, I was looking for a way to become involved in the community, and this is a good opportunity. This program, the Rec Commission particularly, is a vital and crucial part of our community, and it serves the community in a very important way. And becoming part of the Rec Commission would afford me the ability to serve in official capacity, to serve the community as I would hope.
Thank you so much. So we're going to go ahead and move on to part 2. Describe the strengths and/or experience you possess that will help you advance the Commission's goals and mission.
Over the last year, I have been fortunate enough to volunteer for or with the Rec Commission for various city events, giving me the experience and kind of a little bit of insight into what being a Rec Commissioner would be. Some of the strengths that I do possess are I have a strong sense of public service. I work for Merced County, and public service is not just what I do for a profession, but it is also a passion of mine. Additionally, I am a very forward-thinking person and very objective in my views, which would enable me to make decisions on behalf of the community for the betterment of the entire community, not necessarily focused on my own personal or anyone else's interests.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and move on to question number 3. Please share some of the ways you will provide support to the Commission.
I intend to provide support in the means of service by being dedicated and committing my time to the commission, as well as council and city staff, Jackie in particular. In addition, I hope to use the close working relationships that I have established with Merced County officials to move forward with any goals and objectives that the council or the Rec Commission set forth for us as a community.
Thank you. So those were the 3 questions. Council, any other follow-up questions you guys might have?
Yes, real quick. In your application, you also noted that in the past, you helped organize various events and fundraisers for organizations when you were part of CSU Stanislaus. Can you expand a little bit on that? For how long was that, and what was it that you did?
So while at my time at CSU Stanislaus, I actually was on various clubs. In particular, I was part of the Human Resource Club and served as treasurer for 4 semesters. So in my capacity there, it was my responsibility to oversee all the finances of the club. In addition, it was my role to coordinate and facilitate fundraisers for the organization, and also attend these events and participate in working these events as well.
Council, any other questions? I know I've seen you volunteer with the commission and the rec department, so we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Gonna go ahead and move on to our next applicant, Suki Joel. So I'm gonna ask you the same question, okay? If selected, you will serve a 4-year term, making your appointment effective through January 30th of 2026. Are you willing to take on this commitment?
Yes.
All right, sir. So question number 1, please introduce yourself and tell us why would you like to be part of the Rec, Arts, and Parks Commission?
Okay, my name's Suki Johal. I reside here in Livingston all my life. I think I would like to be more involved with Parks and Recs other than the 7 years that I've been voluntarily coaching basketball with Jackie and Tony, and just seeing the fruits of my labor, working with young children and youth, the interaction, displaying good citizenship and sportsmanship, just watching them grow, mentor them, making sure they're adhering to policies and procedures, and give back to the community.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and move on to our second question. Describe the strengths and/or experiences you possess that will help you advance the Commission's goals and mission.
I think some of my strengths are communicating with the public, being open-minded, being objective. Experiences, I have a lot. I don't think time's going to allow a lot that. But just some of them would be policy making, analyzing existing policies, dissecting them, implementing them, revising them, looking at the needs of youths, what ways we could foster more involvement and get more volunteerism, and just get good turnouts.
Thank you, sir. We're going to go ahead and move on to question number 3. Please share some of the ways you will provide support to the Commission.
Other than volunteering, being committed, maybe looking at other resources of revenue as far as grant writing, funding, writing proposals, getting more awareness of community needs, getting more involvement, tapping into resources that have not been utilized before.
Thank you, sir. So those were the 3 questions. Council, do you have any follow-up questions?
Yes, I think you mentioned some of those were funding, grant writing, and what do you mean by that? Like, what are some of, do you have an idea?
Yeah, so just this last year, just for my own business, I was able to get over $300,000 in grants from the federal government. So there's a lot of resources out there in society that people don't know whereabouts, especially for a rural town like Livingston, where we have minorities and there's a lot of funding available. All you got to do is submit a proposal and request those funds, especially for underage youth, minorities, and rural communities. They're more than glad to help out, assist, not only with funding, but with designs, also some of their policies, procedures, their experiences. The internet is a world of its own, and a lot of times all you have to do is ask, and what's the worst they could say is no.
Good, thank you for that. And I also noticed that in your application, you included that you speak 3 languages, English, Spanish, and Punjabi.
That is correct.
That's good, thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead. Buenas tardes, ¿cómo estás? Dime.
very good, very good.
Pero sí, por cada día hablando español, con mis trabajadores, con niños y con mis amigos, ayudando a todo gente por esas cosas. Y es bueno cuando otra persona sabe, sí, él quiere aprender otro idioma, and so you make that connect, so.
Very, very good. I couldn't agree with you any much more that we need, more funding, and there is funding available. It's just a matter of being able to go seek and apply for it, and it takes manpower and staff and, a lot of times. But I like that you mentioned that in Livingston, it's always been a challenge getting people involved and participate in different things. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go move on with our next applicant, Omar Herrera. Sir, and I'll ask you the same question. We're the same MB. We ask of all applicants, if selected, you will serve a 4-year term, making your appointment effective through January 30th of 2026. Are you willing to take on this commitment?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. So we'll start with the questions. First question is, please introduce yourself and tell us why you would like to be part of the Parks, Recs, and Arts Commission.
Okay, my name is Omar Herrera. I am currently on the Parks and Rec Commission. My seat is one of the ones that came up, so I am here again I want to continue on serving on the Parks and Rec Commission, continuing on what I've already started, what I've already completed, and making sure we keep on moving forward with the program. As many of you know me and have seen me, I've been very involved, not only with the commission, but also in other events here within the community. So that's one of the reasons why I want to keep on being on this seat and keep on doing what we've been doing.
Thank you, sir. The second question, describe the strengths and/or experience you possess that will help advance the commission's goals and mission.
Well, one of my strengths has always been, due through my previous employment, some of my networking and all that, I've been able to help the commission in not only gaining some sponsorships and all that, and also being able to start some new fundraising events. Some of you guys know that back in 2019, I had approached Jackie and the commission with doing a beer tasting event to help raise money for our softball and little league teams, which we did. We ended up raising enough money from this one event to purchase all new equipment. Since then, I've been more and more involved with, just using countless hours of just my own personal time volunteering like everybody else on the commission, trying to come up with new ways on how to fundraise, coming up with new ways on how to save money, and just continuing to try to offer all the programs to the kids that we've offered so far. One of the other things too, not only sitting there and volunteering and being part of enjoying everything that we do and seeing how the kids enjoy themselves, I've also had to say that I've had to sit there and make some of the tough decisions on trying to figure out what we need to cut when the budget isn't there, and having to present that to the parents and the kids in this community and letting them know that, hey, as much as we enjoyed having such a program, unfortunately we won't be able to continue on with it. So I've been on both sides of the coin, and that's something that I'm willing to keep on doing just to make sure that we are able to keep continuing with this community and continuing to make kids happy and offering the programs that we need to offer.
Thank you. Question number 3, please share some of the ways you will provide support to the commission.
We'll just continue on what we've been doing, spending some more time. I know recently my own personal life and my career has kind of like not allowed me to spend as much time as I want to, especially sitting in on some of the meetings, sitting in on the one-on-ones with members in the community, sitting in with Jackie, sitting in with people on council and all that. Some of you guys know me personally and all that. And being able to do what I started at first. Juan, you yourself know that when I first entered the commission about 4 years ago, one of the first things I did was I organized a walkthrough of all the parks and making note of what we needed at the time. And since then, I'm glad to say that there's been a lot of improvement, not only from what we did, but from what other people have done. And I've seen the inspiration that has happened within this community to continue on and trying to get involved.
Thank you, sir. Now I'm going to see if the council has any follow-up questions. I'm going to ask you just a quick question.
Okay.
Obviously, you've been in the commission, and I know you've done a great job, and I commend you for your service, especially with the walkthrough, and then I know the beer tasting was a great idea and a great fundraiser back in 2019. What's one of the challenges you think coming forth? I know we have our rec, our grant for our facility coming up. But what's one of the challenges you see moving forward that the commission might be facing or handling?
Moving forward, some of the challenges, just like the ones we've already faced before, having to make the decision on cutting certain programs. I've been lucky enough that I sat in those planning stages of that grant writing, being able to choose and hearing the community's impact, suggestions on what should be included with the center, and just enjoying every minute of it, every second of it, and hearing the community's input. But the challenges is, like I said, and it's always going to be a challenge going forward, no matter who sits on the commission, who's on council, who's here or who's not, but just having to take the tough decision and knowing on what to keep on moving forward with and what having to leave behind.
Any other questions, council? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next applicant. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Linda Plasencia.
Good evening.
Good evening. Once again, I'm going to say, if selected, you will serve a 4-year term, making your appointment effective through January 30th, 2026. Are you willing to take on this commitment?
I am.
Okay, the first question. Please introduce yourself and tell us why you would like to be a Parks, Recs, and Arts Commissioner.
Well, my name is Linda Plasencia, and I was raised here in Livingston, and I also work here in Livingston. And I have met a wonderful group of people over the last year, and they have really inspired me to become a part of and work amongst the community. And that in itself right there, I've coached soccer in the last year. I was a part of the parade and the Christmas tree functions, which I won a blue ribbon. I just feel full of life. I have a lot of life to give, and I would look forward to and appreciate and love every moment that I think that I could give.
All right, thank you. Question number 2. Describe the strengths and experience you possess that will help advance the Commission's goals and mission.
I'm very outgoing, very outspoken, and once again, full of life. I think I can give a lot of life. Very determined. I believe my qualities sitting on the commission would be a great input.
Awesome, thank you. A third question, please share some of the ways you will provide support to the commission.
First of all, it would be commitment. Throughout the year, you know, what I have noticed, what I would love to do is work with the people that are committed, that are there every function, that are there doing better with every turnaround. I want to be a part of that. I would love to be a part of that. Once again, it would be commitment.
Thank you so much. So those were the three questions at this time. Council, do we have any follow-up questions? I'll have a follow-up question for you.
Okay.
Some similar to what I asked the other gentleman. But what are some of the challenges you see moving forward in regards to recreation in the city of Livingston?
Well, personally, challenges as someone just coming in, barely having a foot in, it would be a personal challenge. It would be challenging myself to put myself out there, to be a part. That would be the biggest challenge, is getting in there.
Okay.
Other than that,
yeah.
I think it would go great.
Okay. Council, any other questions? All right, well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And then.
And it was a great group. Listening to everybody, got a lot of great candidates.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
And
Thank
we
you.
appreciate everybody, all the applicants wanting to be involved. We have another applicant, Tommy? Did he end up leaving? Okay, so I think that concludes the interviews for tonight. I know there's other applicants that weren't able to make it tonight, that we will be conducting the last interviews during the next council meeting on Tuesday. And then during the same meeting, we'll be making a selection. So I appreciate you guys' time today, coming down and participating in this process. Like I stated earlier, we appreciate everybody wanting to participate, be part of our city, and give back to our community, specifically through the Recreation Commission. So thank you so much. At this time, we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 2, discussion direction on updating the current firework ordinance.
Mayor, City Council members, staff, and members of the public, we have this item in the agenda to conduct a discussion and provide direction to staff regarding the fireworks ordinance currently in place. I just wanted to note that any changes to our ordinance would require a public hearing, and any changes to the if there are any changes on the fines that are noted in the fireworks ordinance, it also goes through a public hearing session. So at this point, we just need direction on what council wishes as far as the fireworks.
And I believe, Jose, you're the one who wanted to have that discussion or bring this up?
Yes, I just wanted to have the opportunity to have everyone up here kind of brainstorm and have a good conversation in regards to what we can do in regards to our current policy, in regards to fireworks, fines, and penalties, and anything else. This year, I seen already 3 or 4 different cities, different sizes, small, medium, and large, throughout California, especially in California, making changes and amendments to their current ordinances. Normally, everyone has their fines at $1,000. Some have gone up to $2,000 for the first 3, and so on. For the second, and changing, looking at the consideration to change the way that those fines will be given out. Just a brief overview, what we currently have, I do believe in Livingston, is that in order to give a fine to someone, they got to be able to see it and so on, or have evidence. where in other municipalities, as long as there's evidence or from neighbors, from other people that said, that's where the fireworks were, then, a fine could be a warning or a fine could be considered. So, because as it stands right now, I do believe that our current ordinance is not strong enough, and people believe it's just a joke. I think there has been proof that there are a lot of damages that could be done, homes destroyed, homes burned, and potential accidents with especially the way illegal fireworks are designed. So I just, I think it's good to at least have a conversation, listen to what other council members have to say, and also what the public and the residents of Livingston think about our current ordinance.
Okay, thank you. I would support, I know there's obviously an issue in the community when it comes to illegal fireworks, and especially around this time with 4th of July and New Year's Eve. Obviously, we get a lot of complaints regarding that, that issue. I would like to see, I know it was just was put in on there as a request, but what I would like to see is more of a, having like a police chief present and staff to really brainstorm with them, and also have a copy of our current ordinance, and maybe some examples of some other cities, what they're doing and how they've been updating their ordinances and being more tough, I guess, or changing that process. And not only that, but I think we have to take it as a full approach in regards to not only ordinance but also educating, advocacy, awareness. It's different things to approach it. We could approach this issue, but the only way we're going to make that happen is together as a community, as a council, and with our staff. So I would like to see that first. Like maybe you could somehow, give us a copy of our current ordinance, kind of get a perspective from the law enforcement and fire side. Obviously, input from the community, and then I know, like Vanessa stated, that's the first thing actually came into my mind. An ordinance change requires a public hearing process, which it does take some time. But I know that's one of the biggest, one of the many issues that are, I know that we're concerned as a council, the illegal fireworks and all that. Those are my thoughts. I don't know, council, any other? King, Mr. King, Councilmember King, any other? Councilmember Soto.
I agree, Mayor. We do need a copy of the recent ordinance so that we can make a better decision on how we move forward. And it's imperative that we do have our law enforcement and our fire involved in this conversation, because many of the complaints that we do hear are the lack of sleep, the animals, all of it's important. What we do need to see is the enforcement of what we do. So moving forward, if we can get everyone together and on board, and especially with the 4th of July and the potential of fireworks coming out, we do need to educate our community. We need our neighbors to keep doing what they're doing, speak out, let our law enforcement know that things are happening, potential dangers, and so putting out some information along with potential hazards, consequences as it pertains to our ordinance now, because we can't make those changes by the time July rolls around. So we do need to educate our community with the dangers of the illegal fireworks and a courtesy to be neighborly. So thank you.
Yes, I agree totally. You're right. I mean, in regards to this 4th of July timeframe, it wouldn't happen on time. But you're right. We could still be proactive and create awareness in the community with our current ordinance. And like you mentioned, it's very important to get a buy-in from our staff, our law enforcement professionals. We could have an ordinance change, but if we don't have the staffing to enforce it or the capacity to enforce it, it doesn't matter, it's not going to be effective. So we have to take it as a full package. But we need to look at the current ordinance, obviously have those discussions with PD and fire. Obviously, I think we express this every year, is create awareness through our utility billing, send, education pamphlets or flyers, obviously more community policing efforts, which I know that they've they always make their attempts every year with the current ordinance. But yeah, I mean, we have to explore the capacity, how it would look like, and all that good stuff. But it's a different, it's a multiple area we need to discuss.
Mayor, here in this, I'm thinking, would an ad hoc committee be beneficial, where like we will have participants from our city staff, fire department, and potentially 2 members of the council that could do the review and provide a recommendation to bring back to council?
I do. I mean, I think that'll be a good idea. I know with areas of high concern from the community such as this, I think it'd be a good idea to have a focused ad hoc committee working with staff. I mean, I know we had also mentioned ad hoc for the homeless situation as well. So all those high priorities from the community, we should definitely, I think it's a good idea. And I don't know if the council feels the same way. What do you guys think?
I think it'll be great. I just like to make sure that we are very proactive and efficient and do make this happen, and just be cautious to just not let it sit in the back burner. Even though understanding that this is something that is not going to be in time effective for the 4th of July, but continue to be actively engaged and have a calendar in mind already and say, okay, within 3 weeks, we want to have this committee done together, and then in 3 more weeks, set the first meeting, and then from there, kind of have that committee figure out what would the next step be, instead of being done with the meeting and then hoping something happens eventually, because there's a lot of things going on. So I think we should just kind of have a good calendar idea, and I'll be more than willing to volunteer for this ad hoc committee as well. Thank you.
Do you get some direction, Vanessa?
Yes, so would you like to designate the participants of this committee or identify them today, or would you like us to bring an item to council for the next meeting so you can designate that council participation?
Does somebody here today want to participate, or do we? I know it's also a commitment, and I know everybody works, so I don't know if you guys want to. I know there's a lot of stuff coming this summer, a lot of events and a lot of activities. I don't know if you want to maybe have council check their calendars, or whatever you guys feel strongly about participating. Any of you guys right now? I know, Jose, you mentioned you you would volunteer, but anybody else? Or you guys want to take time and bring it back to council?
Absolutely.
Would this ad hoc also include the city's participation in an annual 4th of July event?
No, this is specific to this item on the table, which is updating current firework ordinances.
Yeah, normally the ad hocs are just very short term. They are given a task, they meet up, they make their recommendation, and they dissolve.
So we could bring it back to see if anybody else.
Perfect.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our closed session, which is one item, conference with legal counsel, potential litigation, number of cases, 2. So we'll go into closed session.